Thanks for tuning in to the Urban Scope podcast. I'm back with more NCAA women's basketball news. Now, to discuss these two ballers or two athletes I'm going to talk about now, both have been dominant for the career, but they definitely have been exceptionally dominant this year. And the two athletes I'm talking about is Hannah Hidalgo and Audi Crooks. Now, Hannah Hidalgo with the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, and of course, Audi Crooks with the Iowa State Cyclones, of course. Hidalgo is a junior and Crooks is a sophomore, but it had me thinking about which player is more important to their team. Now, Hannah Hidalgo is averaging crazy numbers right now. She's averaging 34 points per game, 7 rebounds, along with 5 assists on 55% shooting, which is phenomenal for a guard, especially because she's taking more long range shots. She's taking a lot of crazy shots and a lot of shots that are in rhythm and some out of rhythm. So 55% is just a crazy percentage. LeBron wasn't even doing that for most of his career. He was in the 50% range, but 55% is just phenomenal. But Audie Crooks, on the other hand, she's not doing bad either. She's averaging 28 points per game. This is with no 3-pointers, 7 rebounds, 2 assists on 73% shooting. 73% shooting is pretty much automatic. Most of her shots are in the paint, but she are shooting jumpers and um, things like that. So, but 73% is crazy for no matter what you're doing because with the competition today, it just shows you how dominant you are and how dominant you've been over your career. So it's phenomenal to see that from those two players. But who is the most important player to their team? Because I know it seems like an easy answer, and just looking at it firsthand without looking into the numbers, it looks very different. So I always look at the upperclassmen on these teams and see how much help they have, how much experience, how much camaraderie they have. That kind of gives you a insight to that number. 10 of the 12 players on Notre Dame are upperclassmen, and that includes Hannah Hidalgo, of course. But they did lose Olivia Miles to TCU. They lost Sonia Citron and Maddie Westbell to the WNBA from last year, but they're still heavy, heavy on upperclassmen. Over, probably about 90% are upperclassmen. But they do still have Neil Ivy, who I believe in this formula is the better coach, has the more experience. But she does have 5 players right now on that Notre Dame team averaging double-digit points. Now, they've been playing a lot of teams that are less competitive, but you still have that amount of talent on your team to score like that. So that just shows you the comparison narrative there. But Iowa State has 9 out of 13 players that are upperclassmen with just 3 players averaging double-digit scoring. And they haven't been playing the most competitive teams either. But that just shows you the difference. Of course, their programs are a lot different as well. There are more resources at Notre Dame. They had a lot of pro players come out of that program. They have a premier coach. They have a storied franchise. They have a storied school, just from the football side, mostly. But they have a lot of resources and boosters and ability to pay players in the NIL and do things like that. While Iowa State is in the middle of the country, there's not a lot of scenery going around. Not like Notre Dame has any in Great Bend, but I mean not Great Bend, but in Indiana, nevertheless, that they have in South Bend. Sorry. Um, but they have a story franchise that knows that's going to be on TV, that's going to have a lot of press coverage, that's going to put you in the limelight to get drafted and be in better positions. So that is a disadvantage that Iowa State has. They don't have that publicity and they don't have that story franchise. But I do think Audie Crooks is the standout sole superstar of her team. While I do believe Eddie Brown and Jada Williams are good players, but I think the offense is catered to play through Audie, so they're more dependent on her. So it makes more sense because she's so dominant. When I see her play, it's like seeing a female version of Shaquille O'Neal play. usually when I watch the women players play, I see what their comparisons are, and usually I make an NBA comparison. And her Hannah Hidalgo, I see a lot of Iverson in her game because she's relentless and she shoots and she has short term memory about a bad shot. She'll shoot another one, and then make it. And that's a great thing to have. But I think Audie Crooks, her post moves, the way she used the slight elbow to turn around in the post, the only thing she has over Shaq is she can shoot jump shots. She's better at the free throw, of course. But as far as her post moves and her ability, and I think once her footwork gets better, I think she'll be even more of a comparison to a Shaq. But right now, her post move are where her footwork is a little sloppy, but I think it can get better. But I think even with the elements of her footwork, she's still dominating. So if her footwork's getting even better, she might be averaging 50. But that slows down the game. The other players don't get in rhythm; they don't get the shots. But I do think she is more important to her team because no disrespect to Bill Finley, I think Neil Ivy is a better coach and she has a better program. She has better assets at her disposal. Now, not to say that if Bill Finley was in Notre Dame, the team would be best, but would be better. But I do think Neil Ivy is just a better strategist. She's a better component of the game, especially a game that she played as well. But Crooks is just on another level. She has generational talent, generational size, a unique skill set for that size. And I think she'll be even better once the footwork gets there. Once the footwork catch up, it's going to be unstoppable, and it's going to be exciting to see her in the WNBA. Now, the only question I have about her is she is 6'3", but she's built a little shorter for a 6'3", so she'll have problems with Aaliyah Boston or definitely a Asia Wilson, those longer type players, even a Breanna Stewart. Those guys don't have the weight to stand up to her, but even then, that probably won't be enough because they can play from a distance and still be able to frustrate her shot. So I think she will have to work on the quickness as well as far as getting the shot off. But I think the skill set is there. Like I said before, not to beat a dead horse or feed a fed horse, sorry. Um, she has to work on the footwork and a little bit of the quickness because she will be a little undersized going into the WNBA. But it's no doubt that she will. But if you had gave me a choice to pick any one of these players to start a franchise, it would probably be Audie Crooks. But you can't go wrong with Hidalgo either. And because Hidalgo, like I said, is a female Iverson. She's relentless. She's a great scorer. She's needed for what the WNBA needs for us, entertainment, excitement. But Heidi Crooks, I'm not picking any of the bigger players over her, other than the exception of Lauren Betts. And the only skilled players I probably pick over her is like Juju Watkins and probably the girl out of Florida. But other than that, there's not many talents better than Audie Crooks, and she's just a sophomore. So tell me who you would pick between Audie Crooks and between Hannah Hidalgo. And until next time, I'll see you next time.